You don't realize the magnitude of what you can do and how it can drive change to the future generations. I'm Dr. Juana Mendenhall. I am the Vice Provost of Academic Innovation and Learning and the Walter Massey Professor of Physical Sciences at Morehouse College. I love science. I love thinking about science. I love doing science. And I love the challenges that science brings. And that's what motivates me every day. The beauty of being here at Morehouse with these brilliant, young, thirsty minds is that you have so much of an impact.
Most valuable advice for me would be embracing leadership qualities and being who you are as a person.
The only way to success is to first fail in order to build a product of excellence.
I think my biggest lesson has been that I can learn from them. Not only are we connecting on the education side, we're also connecting on a cultural side, showing the human side of who we are.
Do you have the drive to put in the extra hours of studying and truly understanding the concepts being taught? If you have that within you, then you can take yourself anywhere in the world.
I will always be the mentor to them that I never got. That's been the most rewarding thing in my life.
Welcome to the Curious Scientist podcast. Here we explore diverse perspectives on navigating and excelling in STEM careers. I'm Dr. Vanessa Rosa. I'm a chemist who helps scientists translate their work into broader societal impacts. Today's episode was sponsored by the National Science Foundation's Center for Molecularly Optimized Networks, within which Dr. Juana Mendenhall is a senior investigator. Through these conversations with Dr. Mendenhall and her students, 5 qualities of exceptional STEM mentorship will be revealed. The first quality is embracing bidirectional mentorship, where the mentor mentors the mentee and the mentee mentors the mentor. See if you can hear the key to this bidirectional mentorship relationship. What has been a surprising or unexpected lesson your students have taught you?
I think my biggest lesson, humbly, has been that I can learn from them. Coming into a space where you're a young assistant professor out of postdocs, you always feel like, I'm driving everything and, I have to show them everything. But I had to really understand that students teach you too. And that's been one of my biggest lessons, to be able to listen to their voices as well, listen to how they process things, listen to how they understand things, and allow them to bring new ideas to the project. Good leaders listen. The older I get, and I'm not that old, I realize that listening is a huge, huge skill. There's a colleague I have that says there's a reason you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And so I may be the PI of the lab. There's always opportunities to listen and learn. At the end of the day, it will advance you in ways you probably never thought of, because it allows that extra voice, that extra opinion, that extra thought to enter. Set it up for them, but allow them the space and the freedom to read, learn, and contribute. And when you do that, it is a beautiful ecosystem, because everything is moving forward towards achieving an overall outcome. Knowing to listen to their voices and allowing them to contribute in ways that you may not have thought of, they dive right in, because it really catalyzes their intellectual capacity, where we're taking you from out of the classroom, right? Forget about the grades, right? You don't have to get an A in this, but just show me, tell me how you think, show me how you think through this, and let them run with it. And it's a beautiful experiment, being able to have students look at you, especially a diverse, underrepresented group, as mentors and models. Like, I can be her one day, knowing that you have provided tools for them to be able to have that freedom and the ability to synthesize and contribute new ideas to a project is one of the best lessons that I've learned.
Hey everybody, my name is Isaiah Frazier. I'm a junior biology major from Columbia, South Carolina. Here at Morehouse College, Dr. Mendenhall's most valuable advice for me would be to not be afraid to take leadership. that really embodies Morehouse's principles of developing men who lead lives with disciplined minds through leadership and service. You know, being in the lab, a lot of times you don't recognize that you have valuable insight that you can give to others, and not being afraid to invest in those leadership qualities can really put you in a situation that you don't want to be in. So I'd say definitely embracing leadership qualities and being who you are as a person.
That's when you realize it's so much bigger than just the classroom. Empathy and understanding that comes with things, it makes people go so much farther.
Did you hear it? Listening to understand was core in the bidirectional relationship of STEM mentorship. Another core quality is a healthily integrated scientific identity.
I've always loved learning, and I think that's what's grounded me in academia and wanting to continue to disseminate my love for learning, especially science and chemistry across the disciplines, and really wanting to share that with students, especially underrepresented minority students. So I love teaching them how to think about science, solve problems, present it in a way that it's clear and rewarding for them. I think one of the biggest stories I tell, even of how I fell in love with chemistry, was I had family in town, and when I stepped into this new role, my aunt reminded me that when I was a little girl, I cried because I wanted a chemistry set. I think from that first love of getting my first chemistry set, it just always sparked this curiosity of wanting to know more, of, you know, being in it, not knowing what it is, but bold enough to know that you can learn about it, right? And you may not be great at it, you may not get the A, but you're still learning and understanding the concept and how to think through it.
Hey y'all, my name is Kay Rivers. I'm a senior dual degree applied physics and mechanical engineering major from Atlanta, Georgia. The day that really sparked my interest to really get into research was the Science and Engineering Research Symposium at KIPP Atlanta Collegiate, hosted by Georgia Tech. What I did was a marble roller coaster. I was thinking, why not use something different and take into account all of the physics of the marble experiment? So the day of the symposium comes, and here's where I got nervous. I'm over here setting my poster up. I'm like, I don't have a chance at all. But I did what I did best. I explained thoroughly what I built, and surprisingly enough, I somehow made first place. That just really sparked my interest towards, if something like this can win first place by researching the in-depth physics of a small marble roller coaster, what can I really do by taking it to the next step? What can I really build in the future?
I'm curious as to your origin story in becoming a scientist. I've commented mine below. It seems many of our stories reflect imposter syndrome or this idea that we haven't yet earned the right to call ourselves scientists.
We've heard of imposter syndrome. It rears its nasty head because at times people felt like this authoritarian, type of environments, especially in science, right? One space that I was in when I was a postdoc at Cornell University, I worked in this really big lab. The PI had the entire floor was all his lab space. On one side, he had a company, a startup company. And then on the other half, it was his research lab. This man had all this money, all these opportunities, but one thing he did was he listened. He would help you figure out how to navigate it, or if he didn't know, he would point you into the right direction. And it was just somebody listening, hearing your voice. Always, always make sure someone hears your voice. All the young people that are curious scientists that want opportunities, remember your voice matters. Always make sure you project it. Be receptive to the feedback.
One thing that I would emphasize to my mentees and within the scientific community is the value of hard work, right? You always hear about hard work beats talent. And that's one thing that I do believe. Oftentimes I'm in a room with so many excellent minds, or everybody, it just seems like they know the answer to every question. But what matters most is, do you have the drive to put in the extra hours of work of studying and truly understanding the concepts that are being taught? Because If you have that within you and other people can see it, then you can take yourself anywhere in the world. I don't know who I'm talking to exactly, but I would like to say that the world needs you. We need you, and I hope you find your place in life.
If you want to continue to pursue the science field, or if you're facing imposter syndrome, and I know that's something we all face, you're worth it. Keep reassuring yourself people care about you. And at the end of the day, you're a scientist no matter what.
Science is so beautiful because there's so much that's unknown. Being in academia is the ability for you to create your wildest dreams, explore, go after it, and don't give up. Listen, don't give up. It's tough, but it's worth it.
You fail a lot. And that's something I had to really get used to. I'll print something that takes about 6 hours, come back to it and find, oh, the hole's too small, the nozzle's too small. I need to add a nozzle. I need to recreate the whole design. What that really taught me was you have to fail in order to learn.
There was one time I was dealing with cells. The cells got contaminated and I was just absolutely upset. And I was wondering if I even belong in science. Fast forward, when I ended up presenting my research, I actually won best overall research. And I also got another award for second place for a poster presentation. One thing that I would like to emphasize is don't let your mistakes identify you. You're bigger than the mistakes that you make.
I didn't even know you felt that way. I remember when it happened, I'm like, oh my gosh. I didn't know you were beating yourself up about that.
It was bad, but it turned out for the better, you know. I learned from my mistakes, and at the same time, regardless, I still ended up doing well.
It was amazing, bro.
There's a third quality to being an exceptional STEM mentor, and that's adapting to the strengths and needs of your mentees.
What I've learned through that is depending on what they need, you adjust to their interests and their strengths. One student I have is really good with CAD designs. He can draw things that, I mean, it's just a beautiful gift. And literally, I talk about things with him, and he can go on YouTube, look at something, and come back. This is what I came up with. And it's out of this world. And that's when it's one of those things where you're like, wow, but you really play into their strength and allowing them to say, well, I'm not that good with that. We partner up. This person can teach you this. That's always the model in the lab, right? So we might have another student that's really good with graphics, right? So, the graphic student can put together a design or a slide or a flow chart and, bring that skill set to working with another student that's not as strong. Keep providing opportunities for new growth, new advancement, new curiosity, so they can keep building and understanding the fundamental science. I have a student that's a mechanical engineer. We don't have an engineering school. We have a dual degree engineering program. But how do we expose them to some of these engineering principles besides coursework? So when an engineering student comes to me and it's like, this is my major, this is what I'm interested in. I have a project for you. My lab makes 3D materials, 3D scaffolds or hydrogels, materials that swell in water. And so guess what? We have a apparatus that actually tests the mechanical properties of these hydrogels. That's mechanical engineering. And so we teach them literally how to touch these materials, put these on a device, and measure their mechanical properties. Chemistry connects with the mechanical engineering piece, and being able to play into their interests, their majors, even though you're not in the department they think, they belong in. Those are the things that really help when you think about the different things they may need, but still making sure you provide the foundation for them and you connect it to a part of their interest. Taking a moment to just sit with some of the science you read, to really process it, figure out how you learn from reading articles. Is there new strategies you need to use to help understand what is in the literature?
Speaking of the literature, mentoring one so that they can navigate academic research writing is key to an exceptional STEM mentor? How were you introduced to the world of academic writing? Next, Dr. Mendenhall shares her approach, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments.
So one of the first exercises I give mentees that come into my lab is that I just give them a particular article to read. That's it. And I say, we have a rubric, but I don't do the rubric first, right? Because you want to demystify some of the angst or the whatever could come with the getting adjusted or transitioning into your first research experience.
Yeah.
But I just asked them to read it. And I said, just write down any questions you've had. What that does or has done, I think, is allowed them to just say, I was like, it's okay if you don't know anything, if you don't understand it, even like helping them understand what the figures mean, right? I'm big on like now really looking at like the human behavior side of it. How do you process this, right? How do you think it through? So what do you get from the abstract? And then we go through and digest everything that's written there. And here is the gist of what the study was about. But for me, just having them come in first blind, asking questions. I didn't know what this was. Oh, that's okay. All right. And so what I do is literally walk them through their thought process. And then after we kind of do that, then I do a second phase where it's like, okay, now we have a rubric. We kind of break it down even more into the scientific contents, the methodology of the paper. But first, I like to get a holistic view of how they look at it and how they perceive it. Is it too overwhelming? And they might say, Dr. Mendenhall, I didn't know what this was, but I think this is what they were saying to me. And I said, that's exactly what it is, right? And typically we can go through 10, I don't go too harsh, but maybe 10 articles, right? And we want to do a summary of them. I teach them how to extract out images from that because you want to tell your story from your perspective. And guess what that sets them up for? The holistic review of the subject matter, but also helping them understand how you can start to write a peer-reviewed paper. That's important for an undergraduate
Essential.
student because it diminishes the learning curve for when and if they decide to go to graduate school. And so, surprisingly, my undergraduate members that have graduated and went into medicine have even said to me, you helping me go through the literature and read through that and write those literature reviews really helped me in medical school. I'm like, holy, are you serious? It's like, yep, you taught me how to start to think through these things, right? It's a lot of translating from the classroom to the research laboratory and them seeing the continuity between the two because they are connected. But I think in higher ed, we've kind of, especially in STEM, and I'll hone in on chemistry, we've kind of lost that connection. You're not just giving them a research experience, you're giving them a life experience. It's essential. I mean, and I don't have all the answers, right? So there's always room for improvement, listening, learning, growing, and developing so that we can get this diverse pipeline of future PhD scientists, chemists especially. One of my overarching goals is to make sure that I can create the next generation of PhD scientists.
This next skill is essential, especially for the next generation of scientists. Take me back in time to day one, your first time mentoring anyone. What advice would you give to your past self?
You know what's interesting? The best advice, and I'm just now coming into this, so slow things down and pace yourself a little bit better. There's a saying called publish or perish. And I think that creates some unknown anxiety to a lot of us. What I learned and really learned through COVID, it's going to get done. So learning how to pace yourself, not rush through certain things. I'm still learning the tools needed to do that. So what happens is your young self, especially the young graduate student, you think you're busy and you're doing all these things, you think you're busy, but guess what? The more you go up when you get out of graduate school, you become a postdoc, right? You realize, oh, this is busy. I don't have enough time in the day to kind of do certain things that I like to do. Then when you become a junior faculty, so again, this is young Juana, full of energy. I still have it, but now I go to bed like early. I know I can't pull all-nighters like that anymore. Only if I have to, right? Because the old you, funny, the graduate student Juana, I would spend the night in the lab. True story. I would spend the night in the lab, all night, as we call them, slumber parties. And we would keep the coffee going. We would be in the lab all night. And I got my PhD in 4 years, so I guess it did pay off, right? But I had that, I didn't get burnt out that much. And honestly, the burnout didn't happen until I kind of became a faculty member. And I think the reason being is the pacing. And it's still a rat race, right? But then now when you're a junior faculty member, you realize, ooh, it's a lot of parameters, right? Postdocs sometimes don't teach you how to teach. So then you have to learn how to develop your teaching philosophy, develop your lesson. Teaching can take a lot out of you. And no matter what levels, even in higher ed, if we teach like 2 50-minute class sessions or a laboratory, at the end of the day, you're cooked, honestly. And then you realize, oh, I wasn't that busy back then. So I think one of the key things is pacing yourself in the sense of that you have time management where you might have to really schedule, itemize your time to say, during this block of time, this is when I'm doing my grant writing, right? Then my block of time, this is, the time with my students in the research lab. But what you realize is that there's never enough time in a day, but it will get done. It will get done. And so I can't really run that rat race anymore. I love what I do. I'm still energetic about it, but I go to bed on time. I get my coffee in the morning and I learn how to create allotted time. Calendars. Now we have, digital calendars. So you can do that. Digital calendar time blocks, set your timers for those time blocks, schedule your meetings at certain times. I remember as a junior faculty member, I would schedule meetings and I would run literally from like one building to the next. And I remember someone said, I think you need to schedule your meetings like at 15 minutes after the hour. So I was like, oh, they feel better for me.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, it was. And so it's funny. Now I'm mentoring junior faculty and I literally bring that story up. I'll try this, or maybe this semester, this is what this needs to look like, this model for this semester, but it changes. Making sure you still have time for your wellness, for your walks, for your decompression moments, because it can be a lot, right? And so you still have to find that balance, right? And so if you find that balance, whatever that may be, it can keep the stamina going. But, to kind of create that equilibrium so burnout won't happen so fast, because at some point the tank does run low. And the more you do that, the more productive you will be. So that's what I would tell my younger self. And it just took me like 20 years to figure it out.
I love the idea that giving yourself grace and breaks lets you go further.
It does.
I wish I had learned that younger.
Yes, we need to put that on a t-shirt. There's grace and breaks.
Send you one right now. I will send you one.
No, grace and breaks.
Of course, I made this shirt and I'm sending it to Juana today. You know where to get it. It's below.
And we didn't know that. I didn't know. I mean,
No.
I was a
Same.
nutcase because it's like, you gotta
Still
get done.
kinda.
I am too, but now I'm like, unplug.
I'm learning.
And we did not know that because it was, you see, I'm going, I'm here, I'm mission focused, driven, locked in, hyper focused. We're going to get it done. And we do, but grace and breaks, because the recovery from the burnout, what's the incline for that, right? What's the activation energy? Come on. What's the activation energy for that, right? And so
Keep it in equilibrium.
that's right. I mean, so we could shift a little bit to the left or to the right, but then we just restabilize it.
You don't want to combust?
You don't want to combust. Not spontaneous. We want delta G to be no. These are nerd jokes. So that's what I would. I mean, it takes some time to get here, because when we have a certain mindset, right? This growth mindset where we're still moving, it's constantly moving. But I think that's the key. Grace and breaks.
And there we have the 5 qualities of exceptional STEM mentorship. First is to keep it bidirectional. Next is to help others cultivate their scientific identity. Third is to adapt your mentorship style to fit the strengths and needs of those that you're leading. and to make complementary pairs so that their strengths can help one another. Fourth is to foster research literacy. And fifth is to help model effective and healthy time management. Next time, we'll explore navigating alt-academic careers. But for now, enjoy this video about how to frame your research to maximize its impact. Bye.